Hello everyone, grace and peace to you in our Lord Jesus Christ, and welcome to this edition of Histories of Hymns, Stories of Songs. As we celebrate Independence Day here in the U.S., I'd like to take a look at one of our most prominent patriotic songs that appeals to the God we worship to watch over our beautiful country. The song, of course, is God Bless America, written by Irving Berlin. You've almost certainly heard of God Bless America, and chances are, even if you didn't readily know that he wrote it, you probably recognize the name Irving Berlin from other timeless classics that he wrote, such as Alexander's Ragtime Band, There's No Business Like Show Business, and White Christmas. What you may not realize is that Irving was not actually born in America. In fact, he was born on May 11, 1888, in the Siberian part of Russia, known as Tumen. He and his family moved to Antwerp, Belgium when he was very young, and then at age 5, they emigrated to the U.S., arriving on Ellis Island in New York City on September 14, 1893. Irving's father had been a Jewish cantor in Russia, but he couldn't find a comparable position in New York. Instead, he took a job at a kosher meat market and gave Hebrew lessons on the side. At age 8, young Irving began to help the family financially, working as a newspaper boy. When he began selling newspapers in the Bowery of Lower Manhattan, young Irving became drawn to the music he heard coming from the saloons and restaurants on the streets. He began singing the songs he heard while selling newspapers, and people would toss him coins. He eventually found work as a song plugger, playing and singing songs to help sell sheet music, and as a singing waiter at the Pelham Cafe in Chinatown. His first published song earned him 33 cents for the publishing rights. Irving worked his way up, and at the age of 20, he landed a job as a staff lyricist with the Ted Snyder Company, and quickly established himself as a top writer. His first real big hit was Alexander's Ragtime Band, which he wrote in 1910 at the age of 22. This launched Irving into instant stardom. It was often featured at the top of the music charts with artists such as Louis Armstrong and Bing Crosby performing it. George Gershwin called it the first real American work. In February 1912, Berlin married Dorothy Getz, the sister of one of his collaborators. Unfortunately, during their honeymoon to Havana, Cuba, Dorothy contracted typhoid fever. Doctors were unable to treat her illness, and she died later that year on July 17th. Berlin had writer's block for many months, but seemed to come out of it after writing his first ballad, When I Lost You, which served as a way to deal with his grief. Berlin wrote hundreds of songs, most of them at least enjoying brief popularity. He often wrote his songs to accompany new dances that were being developed, such as the grizzly bear, the chicken walk, and the foxtrot. At a time before television and social media, when famous people could walk around without being recognized much of the time, Berlin was on a train and decided to entertain the passengers with some music. When asked how he knew so many hit songs, he simply responded, "I wrote them." In 1917, as the United States entered World War I, Berlin was drafted into the U.S. Army. But the Army didn't draft him to fight. They drafted him to write patriotic songs. Berlin composed an all-soldier musical revue titled Yip Yip Yap Hank, which eventually earned $150,000 to build a camp service center. One song he wrote for the revue, but decided not to use, was God Bless America. After the war, Berlin returned to his publishing house and opened up the Music Box Theater, which served as a showcase for Berlin's musical reviews. In 1924, Irving met and fell in love with author and heiress Ellen McKay. The press followed every detail of their relationship, as they loved the romantic story of a Jewish immigrant with a poor background and an Irish Catholic heiress. Ellen's father did not approve of the relationship, and so Irving and Ellen eloped, with her mother's blessing. Ellen's father actually didn't know about their marriage until he read about it on the front page of the New York Times. For 3 years, Ellen's father did not speak to his daughter or Irving, but they reconciled after the Berlin's son, Irving Berlin Jr., died in infancy. Afterward, Berlin wrote many songs that have stood the test of time, including Blue Skies, Puttin' on the Ritz, and in 1938, he finally published God Bless America. Berlin brought out God Bless America for the 20th anniversary of Armistice Day, the day that effectively ended World War I. Famous contralto Kate Smith, known as the First Lady of Radio, needed a patriotic song to commemorate the event, and Berlin was more than happy to offer his song for the occasion. The song's 1938 release was also timely for a couple of reasons. The Great Depression had gone on for 9 years at this point. As the New York Times would later print, the song's introduction at that time enshrines a strain of official patriotism intertwined with a religious faith that runs deep in the American psyche. Then, a few years later, the United States would enter World War II, and God Bless America became a second national anthem. In 1942, while the war was still raging, Berlin would also write his most famous song, White Christmas, which was actually written for the musical film Holiday Inn, and not for the movie White Christmas, which didn't come out until 1954. Time magazine writer Richard Corliss commented that White Christmas connected with GIs in their first winter away from home. To them, it voiced the ache of separation and the wistfulness they felt for the girl back home, for the innocence of youth. Bing Crosby's version remains to this day the best-selling single of all time. White Christmas earned Irving Berlin an Academy Award for Best Original Song. He was actually asked to present the award that year, and he consequently became the only person in history to open the envelope and read his own name. The situation was so awkward that the Academy afterward changed the rules to make sure it would never happen again. In 1954, Berlin received a special Congressional Gold Medal from President Dwight D. Eisenhower for writing God Bless America, a song that had such a profound impact on the American people. God Bless America has been a staple of American culture since its release, but it gained particular popularity at sporting events, especially Major League Baseball games, after the terrorist attacks on September 11, 2001. It is often sung during the seventh-inning stretch on special days like Opening Day, national holidays, all postseason games, and most Sundays. The New York Yankees are the only team to play it during every game, regularly employing the rousing tones of Irish tenor Ronan Tynan for holidays and special occasions. Irving Berlin lived to the ripe old age of 101, dying in his sleep at his home in Manhattan on September 22, 1989. He always loved America, being incredibly thankful to have grown up in a country which allowed him, a poor immigrant, to become a successful songwriter. To me, Berlin said, God Bless America was not just a song, but an expression of my feeling toward the country to which I owe what I have and what I am.
God bless America, America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. America, America, my home. God bless America, America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountain to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home. God bless America.
thank you so much for watching and listening. If you liked what you saw, I encourage you to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. God bless, and happy Independence Day.